Have you ever felt alone on Valentine's Day? Now that's a question that might resonate with many of you. But today we're not just talking about being single on a day dedicated to love. We're exploring something deeper and far-reaching, the loneliness epidemic. Picture this, our world, more connected than ever before, yet countless people are feeling isolated. Chronic loneliness has become a silent epidemic, a public health crisis of immense proportions. It's not just about being physically alone, but feeling emotionally disconnected, even in a crowd. A few years ago, Dr. Vivek Murthy, the US Surgeon General, issued a public health advisory declaring loneliness and isolation an epidemic. His words were not to be taken lightly. He warned that widespread loneliness poses health risks comparable to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. Yes, you heard it right. Loneliness can be as deadly as a pack-a-day smoking habit. The cost of this loneliness epidemic extends beyond personal suffering. It's costing the health industry billions of dollars each year. But more importantly, it's costing us our happiness, our well-being, and our sense of community. Now you might be wondering, how many people are actually affected? Well, about half of US adults say they've experienced loneliness. This isn't a small, isolated issue. It's a societal problem that has been stewing long before the pandemic hit and has only worsened since. Loneliness, as Dr. Murthy puts it, is like hunger or thirst. It's a signal the body sends when something critical for survival is missing. Millions of people are struggling in the shadows, silently bearing the weight of their loneliness. In a way, loneliness has become a big business. We see an outpouring of books offering self-help strategies, dating apps and websites cashing in, and even holidays like Valentine's Day can sometimes amplify feelings of loneliness. As we dive into the story of Elise Plessis, let's remember that loneliness is a universal experience, one that can be managed and even overcome. It's not a personal failing or a life sentence. It's a condition of our modern world, and together we can find ways to navigate it. Meet Elise Plessis, a 53-year-old woman from Manitoba, Canada, who has chosen to be single for the last 26 years. Yes, you heard it right. 2.5 decades of singlehood, and not due to a lack of suitors, but a conscious decision to steer clear of what she describes as the toxic hookup culture. Elise is the singleton of her family and friend group, a role she has embraced, but one that comes with its own set of challenges, particularly when Valentine's Day rolls around. Each year, as February 14 approaches, Elise admits to feeling a sense of FOMO, the fear of missing out. The roses, the chocolates, the candlelit dinners, they all seem to underscore a stark reality. She's alone, and yet Elise refuses to sit at home, wallowing in self-pity. Instead, she has chosen a proactive approach to combat her feelings of loneliness. Last year, Elise made a decision that took many by surprise. She became a certified matchmaker. No, it wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision, but a measured step towards not just addressing her own loneliness, but also helping others find love. This year, she has an ambitious plan in place. Ahead of Valentine's Day, she is organizing a speed dating event, a gathering where hopeful singles can meet, mingle, and who knows, maybe even strike a romantic chord. Now, you may wonder, why would a woman who has consciously chosen to stay single for over 2 decades suddenly delve into the world of matchmaking? Well, it's simple. Elise believes that if she can't find love for herself, the least she can do is help others find it. A noble thought, isn't it? So, here's to Elise Plessis, a woman who, despite her own loneliness, is determined to help others find love. A singleton, not by circumstance but by choice, who is using her own experience to bring a little bit of love into the lives of others. Valentine's Day, a day of love and friendship, can be a difficult time for those feeling isolated. In a world where this holiday is often commercialized to the point of excess, it can feel like a spotlight is being shone on those who are alone. Store shelves overflow with heart-shaped cards and chocolates. Dating apps see a surge in activity, and the air seems to hum with an expectation of romance. For those who are single or simply far away from their loved ones, this can exacerbate feelings of loneliness and isolation. But let's take a moment to shift our perspective, to see things through a different lens. David Sparrow, a psychology professor at the University of Arizona, suggests that instead of focusing on our isolation, we should look for opportunities to re-engage. He says, people are looking at and monitoring themselves being socially isolated instead of shifting their perception toward opportunities. Who can I go out with? What can I do? How can I serve others? Who can I text, call? That's very important. Indeed, it is very important. It's important to remember that Valentine's Day isn't just about romantic love. It's about friendship. It's about self-love. It's about the love of helping others. It's about recognizing that we are not alone in our loneliness and that there are many ways we can connect with those around us. So, this Valentine's Day, why not reach out to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while? Why not volunteer at a local charity or offer to help a neighbor? Why not take some time to do something you love just for you? By shifting our perspective, we can transform Valentine's Day from a reminder of our loneliness to a celebration of the many forms of love in our lives. As we approach Valentine's Day, let's remember that it's not just about romantic love, but also about friendship, self-love, and the love of helping others. So, what can we learn from Elise Plessis's story? Elise's journey is one of resilience and resourcefulness. Choosing to remain single for 26 years, she found herself grappling with feelings of loneliness, particularly around Valentine's Day. But rather than wallow in her perceived isolation, she chose to turn her situation into an opportunity to help others. Elise became a certified matchmaker and organized a speed dating event, showing us how one can combat loneliness by extending a helping hand to others. Moreover, her story underscores the importance of shifting our perspectives, as Dr. David Sparrow suggested. Instead of focusing on our isolation, we can seek out opportunities to engage, to serve others, to connect. The loneliness epidemic is real, but it doesn't have to be a life sentence. There are ways to navigate through it, and Elise's approach offers a compelling blueprint. Remember, Valentine's Day is a celebration of love in all its forms. Whether you're single or in a relationship, you're never truly alone.